Some people are actual massive dicks. Oh, hi! You look very nice today. You know what else is very nice? Engineering. Engineering is so cool. Ever since I started working back in high school, I was always in various engineering roles, and it's always been an absolutely magical journey. You know, that feeling of creating something that then acts according to human will. It's just so cool. So you've been an engineer for a while now. You've been going through your first job perhaps, or doing your internship or something like that. And you've been doing pretty well lately, but at some point you're bound to run into problems that you do not know the solution to, and you turn to people for help. Boy, are you in for a treat! Now, most people you'll be working with will probably be actually quite nice to be around. I mean, that's understandable, they're engineers, and you're also an engineer, so they're just like you, and you're cool, so they're cool too, right? Unfortunately, there is a little bit of a problem, and that stems from the fact that the engineering or science or any other similar fields, they're considered to be somewhat intellectual. So imagine a person. You all know that one person in your life that just thinks they're better and smarter than everyone else. And now multiply that by 10 because they're working in an intellectual field, and you will get engineering elitists. And what do you know? That's the type that you sometimes absolutely have to deal with. I don't know why I did that. Now also combine that with the fact that most people aren't exactly too good with conflicts, either verbal or non-verbal these days, and you get some really unchecked assholes running around. And first, let's make one thing clear. There is nothing inherently wrong with taking pride in your work or in your skills. We should all know our value. We're working hard, we're working for a long time, and yeah, we do grow. Sometimes we become rather competent in what we do. Although I got to say, if you're feeling that you're getting too competent, it's probably time to start trying something new because you're probably stagnating. Now, the real problem starts though when such a person starts interacting with others. And in that case, it doesn't even really matter whether they're actually skilled or not, because the result in the end is kind of the same in both cases. So let's say you are, in your own eyes, the best and coolest specialist in the world that can do no wrong, and the rest of the world should just prostrate itself in front of you. So how do you convince those lower creatures of your skills? Now, there are two types of people you need to convince. First one is people you already work with, and the second one are the ones just trying to get into the field. So in case of a person working with you already, you just need to kind of berate them, put their work down, elevate your work up, and when you go to work meetings, never provide any actual input. God forbid people will know your actual skill level, which may not be that high. But you will also look very important. You don't write code anymore. You're too senior for that. You're an advisor. You're an architect. You're the expert. Experts don't dabble in code. That's for peasants, right? And the second case is much more interesting because it's just so vast in scale. And nowhere does it manifest more brightly than it does in specialized communities. Now, let me tell you, electronics forums are absolute shithole. Never before have I seen so many absolute dickbags concentrated in a single community. One thing I have learned lurking engineering forums is don't you ever dare to mention Arduino. Arduino, bad. For those who do not know, Arduino is kind of a small microcontroller prototyping board that you can attach all kinds of sensors and other small electronics to. Like, you can automate a lot of stuff. I don't know, your aquarium for fishies that would feed them automatically, check the water and stuff, water your plants, open your garage door, control the light, and so on and so forth. Overall, it's an extremely useful piece of electronics that's commonly used in automation and in prototyping, and it's just an absolute delight to work with. Arduino is very convenient, and that's why electronics forums absolutely despise it. Arduino makes people's blood boil. Like, the moment you mention it, people come out of just every single hole around, and they start telling you that you're kind of stupid. Clearly, you should just go through an entire course of electrical engineering, get a degree, read 20 giant books on it, and then maybe come and ask a question. And then some inevitably come and say, "Oh, well, Arduino, oh, that's so stupid. Are you even trying? Well, I have implemented my own solution." And they show you this giant metal box with wires just sticking out of it. Like, they always look so shitty. Like, if you're an asshole, at least be an asshole in style. Jesus, dude. What is wrong with you? So basically, you come for tech tips, you get dick tips. Okay, so maybe electronics wasn't quite your field, so you decided you're sick of it and you want to switch, so you switch to software. Software is better, right? You don't have to deal with any wires or microcontrollers or some shit like that, so clearly you can just avoid those terrible places and those terrible people, right? Boy, it's even worse. Now, there is this platform called Stack Overflow. Basically, it's kind of like Quora, but for software exclusively. And most of the time, you can actually find very nice people there that are eager to help you with your problem, to the point where they write like almost an actual article in response to your question, sometimes even with custom-made diagrams and stuff. Those people are saints. Like, I pray to those people. They're wonderful. And let me tell you the worst feature of Stack Overflow. Because while technically it's just a Q&A board, it also provides assholes with actual power. Now, in Stack Overflow, for asking questions, you get this kind of karma, reputation, coolness, whatever they're called, points. And that in itself is not unique. I mean, you see it on forums all the time, you see it on other Q&A boards all the time. The problem is, in case of Stack Overflow, those points actually grant you moderator privileges. You can probably see where this is going by now. So get ready to have your questions closed for a whole multitude of reasons, like not being focused enough, not being detailed enough, and God forbid, containing opinions. Opinions are a big no-no on Stack Overflow to some moderators, which is interesting considering that 90% of this whole industry is opinions, but okay. And it doesn't even matter if the question was actually popular, ranked very highly, and other users were giving an explanation, giving answers, having a very valuable discussion with it. BAM! Opinion! Fuck you! God forbid you ask a question on a Q&A platform. What is wrong with you?
How dare you!
Sometimes the dickbags also give you the honor of answering your question before closing it, in which case the answer is basically, go read a book, or go study the discipline seriously, go get a degree like me. Honestly, at this point, you would probably have more luck just going outside and asking a random homeless guy how to answer the question, which would probably actually work in case of San Francisco, where half of the homeless people would just be software engineers unable to afford apartments. So what should you do when you meet that kind of people? I mean, you can't just leave your question unanswered, right? Well, luckily, A, those people aren't really that numerous. And secondly, there's still plenty of places to ask around. There are other question boards, there are forums, there are Discord channels, all kind of places just waiting for you to shower them with questions. And if you are stuck working with people like that, and you get this everyday feeling of just wanting to punch your coworker in the face really hard, believe me, I know the feeling. I would say just change jobs. Not worth it. Trust me, the stress of looking for another job is much less than you would accumulate over the time you have to work under such an asshole, especially under such an asshole. With is bad enough, under is a fucking nightmare. That being said, do not take it as an advice to just run away from any conflict. You do need to have a thicker skin. This is the professional world. The world isn't necessarily always nice to you, and you need to be able to adjust to that. Bottom line is, enjoy engineering, don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be a dick. And also like this video, subscribe to this channel, or I will curse you to only exclusively ask your questions on Stack Overflow.